So just to elaborate a second on the whole breathing thing, breathing is super important to get into the right states of mind, and it's because it's one of those doorways into the unconscious. Because when you're consciously breathing on your own, if you do it correctly, your subconscious can take a break from doing that. You know what I mean? And you're consciously not thinking about anything else. So basically, when you're consciously breathing, you're in one of those unconscious states I'm talking about where you can receive stuff. So it's super important. So if you are taking 10 minutes, if you could take 10 minutes every hour to do it, you'd be a healthy motherfucker. I'm telling you that. But, you know, you take 10 minutes 3 times a day to just focus on breathing, do something like the 4-fold breath, which is like, give or take 16, if you do 4-fold breaths, okay, in 1 minute, that's breathing in for 4 seconds, holding for 4 seconds, breathing up for 4 seconds, holding that for 4 seconds. You do that 4 times, that's 1 minute, give or take 2 seconds, okay? And you're saying, what? You only breathe in and out for 4 times in 1 minute? Doesn't that seem a little? No, it's not that crazy. I can hold my breath for a fucking minute. And I'm a smoker, for God's sakes. That's how much healthier this smoker is than probably a lot of non-smokers. Now, a non-smoking spiritual person doing this path is going to be probably way more healthy than me, so I won't even get into that because I don't want to speak that into existence, but you know what I'm trying to get at. So anyways, breathing. Why breathing is so healthy? Well, you're doing what your subconscious is trying to do for you, and you're giving it the option to do other things in your body. So if you're breathing correctly, taking enough oxygen in and removing enough carbon dioxide, and that's what you're doing when you're holding your breath with no breath in. You're removing carbon dioxide by breathing in so much. The amount of oxygen you breathe in is kind of the amount of carbon dioxide you can get out. And then when you hold that breath, or no oxygen, no carbon dioxide, that's so important, so healthy. I'm not even gonna get into it, but it's unbelievable. But that's harder to do. And normally the things that are harder have the most benefit, do they not? It's easier to hold your breath with breath in there than it is to hold your breath with no breath in there. If you don't believe me, try it. But if you think about it, now, if you're breathing, your subconscious doesn't have to do the breathing and then the distributing of the oxygen. It can focus on just the oxygen. So if you're breathing right, taking in the right amount of oxygen and removing the right amount of CO2, then it has one less thing to do. So it has more energy to put into your manifestations, your habits, everything you're trying to banish, and everything you're trying to pull to you, by healing your fucking body. It's like, fuck, I don't have to worry about breathing for a little bit. Awesome. Well, then he's giving me a break, so let's fucking heal this guy. He's doing us a favor. Your body wants you to win. Your body wants you to heal. It's you that is stopping it. It's you that's getting in the way. It's you that thinks it knows everything and is fucking it up. And then you're reaffirming these things over and over and over again, telling your body, and your body's either going to say, okay, he must know best. He's running the show. But really it's running the show, and you're fucking it up, and you're going to keep running for, or it's either that or it's saying, you know what, fuck him. He doesn't give us enough breath anyways. Let's just die so we can reincarnate in somebody else that hopefully knows this shit better than this dumbass. One or the other. But anyways, but that's why there's healing in breathing. That's why breathing is one of the gateways to the unconscious. You add that with different postures and different visualizations, and you're in bliss. You're in bliss, and you're healing your body at the same time, and you're in that receiving state, because you're receiving healing. You're receiving messages from your subconscious. You're receiving your manifestation. So get in the habit of doing that. And not only that, you're going to create a habit. It's like an affirmation that you don't have to do anything with. All you have to do is practice this breathing technique as much as you possibly can in a day for 21 days, and your body will start doing it by yourself. You'll just realize you're breathing through your nose, and it's so healthy for you, so great for you. But that's why breathing is so important, and that's why healing comes from it. Well, it's one of the reasons, because your subconscious can focus on other things. But it's just proof yet again of how, if you can get into these receiving states, if you give your subconscious one less thing to do, like whenever you're not thinking about your manifestation, unfortunately you're giving it an extra thing to do, because you just projected something and you're trying to get in your subconscious, like, fuck, we already have all this other shit to do. Well, that's why it's good to banish and invoke something, because you're not giving it something extra. I think money is the root of all evil, but I want lots of money. It's like, well, what the fuck? This doesn't make sense. I already have this one. And now he wants this one in here, but this one's been in here longer, so no, we're not going to do this one. But if you banish that one and then you put this one in, and you do that over and over again, it's like, well, he wants this, but we already have this, but he's saying he wants this gone, so he's not giving us extra work, so let's give it to him. You're more likely to get that, right? If you ask somebody to do you a favor, but they're already doing you 2 favors, are they going to do it for you? But if you say, hey, can you do me this favor? And, I'll do one or both of those favors for you, well, it's going to do it for you. So you banish one thing, and then you focus on your breathing. So you're doing 2 favors for your subconscious. It's going to give you your manifestation. And whether you think it's crazy what I'm saying or not, if you can get this in your head, it'll be real. That's the secret. Whatever we get in our subconscious mind is what plays out. If we can get programming in our subconscious mind that we want, it'll play out. That's why this is so dangerous, this knowledge. That's why we're all locked up in having fake or real virus pandemic. Okay? I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake. All I can know is what everybody else knows. But I do understand occult and other shit. And what I see is not right. Yesterday was Easter. So maybe it's fitting to talk about Jesus. I used to be a practicing Christian. I was in a Christian school and all that. I am no longer one. I am one still on paper because I got married, 5 years ago, something like that. And my kids go to Catholic school because I believe it's important to believe in God and have faith in something that you can't see, so that when the time comes to believe in many gods, like I do, it's not a hard transition because you already believed in one that did all these things. But then when you can break it down and focus on one little thing at a time, anyways. But what was Jesus? Well, let's start off with the beginning. 3 magi, 3 wise men, and then eventually turned into 3 kings, because translations, which is proof in the whole banishing of witchcraft on its own, but those guys visited Jesus, gave him frankincense, myrrh, and gold, and maybe something else, like frankincense, really? It's like the best, it's the only thing you can burn that gives you negative ions, that heals. Frankincense, get some. It's fucking awesome. It works tremendously amazing. And you won't regret it. I have the oil, I have the I have incense sticks, I have the resin, little crystal ball things of it. It was crystal ball. Anyways, they end up burning, they get black, but they turn to like a little salt, and fuck around with that all the time. I love it. I'll put the oil on the fucking resin, and it's probably something I shouldn't do, but the oil I have is flammable, so I don't know if that's good or not. Where I bought it from, it's kind of an iffy place. The resin, though, where I got it from, is definitely 100% legit. But I don't know if it's supposed to be flammable or not. I've never had I forget the name of the fucking tree frankincense comes from. It's from the sap of a tree, obviously. But anyways, so Jesus, that was the first sign, right? The 3 kings, the stars in the sky, and Orion's belt. Yeah. It's not 3 kings, it's 3 magicians. And what are magicians? Well, I'm a practicing magi and hoping to be one day a very wise man. So these guys visited Jesus first right off the fucking hop. And Jesus performed miracles, and he fucking fed his fucking crew, his disciples, his followers, the apostles, whatever one you want to call them. All these guys stopped working, and they weren't poor. They always got fed. They had wine to drink. They had a good time. They went around city to city with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, they were all right. Jesus was manifesting the reality for them, and they were probably doing it too, but he was like the tool they used by believing in him or whatever. Once again, this is a story. So is Jesus a real person, or did somebody make this story? Well, either way, I think we can agree on this. The story was probably written at least a long time ago. And a long time ago, the corpus callosum in the human brain wasn't there, or depending on the time frame, the brain evolves. Like everything else, it's evolving. It's always growing new parts. It's always getting bigger. We're always, breaking it down even more. But either the writer who made the story, whenever the corpus callosum connects your left hemisphere to your right hemisphere, and it makes the cross communication happen. And whenever people heard the voice of God back then, or when they heard their subconscious talking to their conscious mind, when they could get in that receiving state, they thought it was God talking to them, because all they had was the Hebrew book, or You know, if they went and asked the witch would tell them what it really was. But no, those people were of the devil. But you look at the Bible, and even in the movies about Jesus, when he heals the blind man, the high priest blame him, the high Jewish priest blame him, or say this is fucking magic from the devil, basically. His talents are from the devil. This is the gifts of the devil. He's practicing whatever. And the blind man says, I don't know if if it was from the devil or if it was from the Lord. But all I know is I was blind, now I can see. I need to meet this man. He runs up to Jesus, and then they change the story to, he was never blind. He was never blind, you know? And then he gets kicked out of there, called a blasphemer and all that. So even Jesus was accused of doing witchcraft. Yet, he is the symbol of Christianity now. Well, what symbol is he? Because I got him on a cross. It's not on my wall anymore. But it's like in a fucking drawer somewhere. Because I don't want a dead man on a cross in my fucking house to tell me this is what happens to practicing magicians and witches. And you can say, well, that's a bit of a stretch. Oh, yeah? Well, what happened from, 1350 to 1700? It was like 250 years of fucking witch trials and murder. Is that the sign? Is that what they want us to know? Because then they just preach that Jesus was the only one we accept. And anybody else is of the devil. So they told my grandma. Well, technically the priest said, who are you to play God to my grandma? But her mom said, priest before told her that it was, the talents of the devil. That there's no other Jesus. When Jesus comes back, it's when the world is done. So it's basically saying nobody can be a magician. If they claim they're a magician, they're of the devil. They take it too far and start getting people to follow them, we got to kill them because they're going to make too many fucking waves. Well, that happened in like the Celts, with the Druids, over and over and over and over again. And what's going on now? Well, witchcraft, magic, New Age, Wicca, spirituality in general is, actively being suppressed. But more and more people are getting into it. More and more people are learning it. More and more people are changing their lives. So maybe there is a little group of guys that were practicing something and we're controlling the world. But because of media, or not media, but because of internet, us sharing information, us learning, as Robert Space, Age of Aquarius being the time of us being able to use our minds to create our reality, as us finally realizing that that's now finally possible, just now that we're realizing it. Now it's deep in the collective consciousness, like I said earlier in another video or whatever, that whatever's in the collective consciousness is now a possibility that we can do. Now, certain people can make their own possibilities by doing getting their own belief system to work. But when the collective consciousness gets to a certain point, then things get easier for everybody as well. It kind of evolves us. This is the point. We're here to evolve. How do we evolve? We get everybody basically on the same page. We're as weak as we're as strong as our weakest member, but we're only as weak as our strongest member, or only as strong as our weakest member, something like that. I don't know. Anyways, point is, 5G. First of all, I don't know. I think it's going to weaken your immune system and probably make you get coronavirus and shit like that. Obviously, and I'm not saying the same sentence, so I'm trying not to say it again, but I don't think it's going to benefit us in any technical. Obviously, their benefits that they're going to get is going to be way better than ours, because somehow they're going to have to monitor this shit. They're not. If we can share information faster, there's got to be something bad about it, huge about it, because this is a problem for the establishment of us sharing, because they have to create some kind of pandemic, make something really bad for us to waste our power on, instead of dethroning them. You know what I mean? Instead of us focusing on how to get them out of power, how to create new earth, now we're trying to use our magic, the ones that aren't, the ones that are maybe magical people that are really good magicians that are probably worried about coronavirus because maybe they see people die from it or whatever, then, they're probably trying to banish coronavirus instead of banishing our old system, our old ways. It's just a way to divide us again. It's just a way to get whoever was starting to get into New Age to stop, basically. It's just keep us at home, and it's not good. None of it's good. But yeah, I think that's going to be enough for today, but I got a whole lot more. Keep checking in on this for Magical Eyes Only shit. I'm going to keep putting out videos about this. The next one I'm going to make is going to really hit on polarity, vibration, cause and effect, and gender. Like really, really clean cut. This is what you do, and this is how it works.